And holy moly, it was a crazy ride. If you want a sizzling, hot, spicy vampire romance, you will love this book. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing great. Today I'm going to talk to you about all the books I read during the month of November. I had a great reading month this month, let me tell you, because I opened up with a great book. Let me grab it. A Curse for True Love, the finale of Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I will try, when I'm describing this book, I will try not to say magical and whimsical a lot because if you read Stephanie Garber's books before, you already know that her writing style is so lyrical and enchanting. And this book and all of her books really transports the reader into that universe that she created. And the experience in itself is so magical. I had the best time ever reading this. Granted, there are some points that I didn't like we got a POV of someone that I didn't care for. We didn't get a lot of Jax. I wished we have more Jax scenes and interactions with Evangeline. We didn't get a lot of Evangeline and Jax romantic interactions, but I still gave it 5 stars because I think the series as a whole, if we can rate the series as a whole, it's a 6-star series. It's excellent. So I still highly recommend it. If you like, since I cannot talk about the plot of this book, if you like mischievous characters, if you like a villain's love story, read this. This is for you. It's like part adventure, part fairy tale, and it's truly a dreamy, sweet finale for an outstanding fairy tale. It's the new age fairy tale right here. Even though the finale was not perfect, this series, like I said, it's 6 stars, and I still gave this 5 stars because of those feelings, because the way it transported me, all the feels that I felt. It's just a well-written book with some points that I'm not perfect, those I already mentioned, but it's still a great read and I highly recommend it. Next up, I read on my Kindle A Touch of Poison, and holy moly, it was a crazy ride. Book 2 and the Shadows of the Tenebrous Court. It picks up, let me just say this point, it picks up right after the events of A Kiss of Iron, so there's not that lapse of time between them, so you know exactly what happens to the character after the first book, because it picks up right from there. And the action is non-stop, and there are like plenty of mysteries. We have betrayal. As usual, we have court intrigue that keeps you guessing and like engage the entire book. I think it's a 600 plus pages, but like, it just keeps you reading because there are a lot of things to discover in this world. And I love the balance between the action and the adventure, with the tension and the romance between Kat and Bastian. And they both have a lot to work through, and they know they need to work on themselves and learn to accept who they are as individuals as they continue to learn about each other. And also I noticed that Kat's growth in this book was amazing. Like, you can see how her mindset changes, how she thinks. I also love that we got more history and more court rules, and also we got a glimpse of Bastian's childhood. And there was a scene I remember in the Marwood Inn. It put a smile on my face. I love that scene. I think it's going to be an incredible series, and I cannot wait to get back into this world and continue Kat and Bastian's journey, especially after that crazy ending. And yeah, I had the best time reading this book too. So yeah, A Touch of Poison, Book 2, in the Shadows of the Tenebrous Court. Okay, the next book I read is an anticipated release for a lot of people, and me included, is the sequel to Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and of course I got here my paperback so I can annotate it and give it a lot of love and attention. Before I dive into my opinion about this book, I want to mention something that I noticed on Goodreads. After I wrote my review on Goodreads, I just went ahead and read some comments, some reviews, and I want to say something. There was a big difference between bashing and giving a negative review. Saying that the books, some people, and it's unfathomable. It's just something that I don't understand. Some people saying that these books are horrible, the series need to be deleted, the author needs to be canceled. These are just straight up mean and hurtful and 100% unacceptable. If you don't like a book, you just say I don't like it, and you state the points of view, like your points, what made this book bad in your opinion, and that's it. But saying things like that is just mind-blowing to me. I don't understand it. And also they are going after people who read these books, saying that people who loved these books, people who think that they are 5-star books, they are people who didn't even read any other fantasy book. It's the first fantasy book they picked up and thought, ooh, they are blown away because they don't have anything to compare it to. And of course that's not correct. I read a lot of fantasy, and a lot of people read a lot of fantasy, and I love this book so much, and I loved Fourth Wing so much. So I don't understand, like, if you don't share the same opinion, you will go after me too. It's just incomprehensible. Like, why would you do that? Just state that I don't like it and why you don't like it, and that's it. With no disrespect to the author, with no disrespect to the people who love the book. I also, for example, there is one video, a recommendation video that I posted, and someone commented saying that in the lines of, they cannot take recommendations from a person, which is me, who loves Fourth Wing. They don't trust my opinion. They don't trust my recommendations because I love Fourth Wing. And I'm like, what? What does that have to do with Fourth Wing? Do you think that I agree with every single YouTuber, booktuber, or bookstagrammer that I follow? Like, I love every book they love too? Of course not. I don't love every book they love, but I still follow them, and I still love them, and I still respect them, and I still listen to their recommendations, and I take from their recommendations a lot, because it's what we are. We are human beings that are wired differently, very differently, and we cannot agree on everything. But what we have to agree on is respect each other's opinions. And I think now we came to a time that this has to be given. Like, you have to be respectful and also kind. Please spread kindness, and please know that if you love this book or if you don't love this book, I will never judge someone for loving or disliking a book. And if you don't love it, please let me know in the comments down below so we can have the coolest discussion ever and we can laugh about it together. This is, like, my channel, at least, it's a judgment-free zone. And for me, the most important thing is read what makes you happy. And I don't care if it's not for me, it's not something that I love. Please let me know if you love this book, if you didn't, why, and we can have a discussion together and in total kindness. Okay, so let me just stop rambling about this and let me dive into my review. It's just something that I wanted to say that really was on my mind this whole time, and I wanted to mention it during this wrap up. Okay, is this book perfect? No. Was the pacing off at times? Yes. Did Zayden and Violet kept fighting about the same thing, like third or maybe more of the book? Also yes. Does it happen in real life? Like, you are arguing with your partner about the same subject a lot of times, multiple times? It happens too. But was it entertaining? Oh my god, absolutely. I was entertained the whole way reading this, and every time I had to put it down, I kept thinking about it and wanting to go back to this world and continue reading as soon as possible. And that for me says it all. I don't have anything to say. If a book does that to me, for me it's a 5 stars, at least 4.5 stars, 4 stars. And I remember when I was like in the first chapters of the book and chapter 19 happened. I'm not going to say anything specific, so don't worry, there are no spoilers here. When they were about to do the flight maneuvers, that Tern and Varys scene, that was one of the best scenes in the book for me. Oh my god, I swear my adrenaline spiked. Tern was so badass. I love him so much. I love how vicious and overprotective he is. He's just a straight up badass. I love his one-liners, I love his dialogue, I love the way he thinks. And it's just the best time ever when Terrence starts speaking, to be honest. I love him. And also chapter 35, 36 got me sobbing so bad. This is an incredible story and it will pull all different emotions from you, and this is what matters the most for me, is how you feel. What was your experience with the book? I loved the found family aspect, the precious friendships, the romance, even though they kept fighting about the same thing. But I loved how they kept communicated and did not just cut all communications out. And the dragons. Oh my god, the dragons are what makes these books. The dragons are the stars of these books. I adore their interactions, their criticism of human behavior in a sarcastic way. Like I said, Terrence's lines are so epic. Also, I love how strong they are and how loyal they are. The world building and the different signets that the writers manifest after bonding is so cool too. And finally, I must say, of course, Andarna. Andarna was definitely the star of Iron Flame, and I adore her. I adore her so much. She's just so cunning, and like her reactions, like, oh my god, she's like cutest, cunning, at the same time mischievous. Like she has a little bit of, not evil, but a little bit of that spice, you know, when she's doing her thing. I love her so much. So, for example, if we want to compare Iron Flame to A Curse of True Love, A Curse of True Love was not perfect either. A lot of points, a lot of things that happened I did not agree with, a lot of things bothered me, but I still gave it 5 stars, and it's the same for me with Iron Flame, because the most important thing is your experience when reading the book. How did the book make you feel? Did you get those feelings? Did it pull out those, you know, there are the feelings when you are reading, like for me, Sarah J. Maas. This is the same feelings that I got from this book, like laughing and crying and being there and fighting with the characters, and they are alive. For me, these people exist and I want them to be happy. And that for me, what makes a book 5 stars. And please, like I said, I have a judgment-free zone here, and I support you reading whatever makes you happy. So please tell me what you think of Iron Flame if you read it, or Fourth Wing, and let's have like a fun discussion about them. And just keep reading and have fun. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about Iron Flame and let's jump into the next one. Okay, the next book that I read was on my Kindle, and it's called Black Sunshine by Karina Halle. It is a dark, adult, paranormal romance set in a contemporary San Francisco. And in this book, we follow Lenore, who is 20 years old, and she's an excellent student, and she always feels like someone is watching her. Someone is following her everywhere she goes. One night, she was at a club with her friends, and she saw this very attractive man from far. But when she tried to show him to her friend, he's just not there anymore. He just disappeared. And a week before her 21st birthday, she gets kidnapped by that same man who has been stalking her. It turns out his name is Absalon Stavik. They just call him Salon. And he's a centuries-old vampire who's caught between wanting to kill Lenore and wanting to save her. And the story goes from there, and Lenore starts to learn more about her origins and her past and who she really is. And I'm not going to say any more, so I don't spoil anything for you. And I am happy that I didn't read the synopsis either for this book before reading it, because the synopsis on Goodreads gives too much away. Just trust me on that. You only need to know what I just said to you, so you enjoy the book more and you get surprised. And my only critique for this book is that Lenore, shortly after learning her true identity, she seemed to all of a sudden capable of doing all the things, all the capabilities, I don't want to say anything, all the things that she was able to do with no training whatsoever. and she didn't even have a conversation about how to control the gifts and access the power and stuff like that, to do the things that she was doing, right? But I still enjoyed this book so much. It played like a movie in my head, and I believe it's only a duology, so I only have one more book to go. And I highly recommend the audio. The audiobook was so entertaining to me, and it just made it easier to imagine what is happening, the action and the characters and everything. So I highly recommend this book. I gave it, I think, 3.5 stars, something like that, but I'm going to continue on. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it so much. Next up, I read King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. I read this on my Kindle too. In this world, we have 9 kingdoms, and Isolde is the princess of Lara. The name of the kingdom is Lara. And they live in a world where vampires and deadly monsters exist. So all her life, she has been training not only to learn to defend herself, but also to someday be able to rule her kingdom alone, because she has decided that she will never get married. She does not like the idea of getting married. And on the other hand, we have this Blood King, Adrian, who has been on a quest to conquer the whole continent of Cordova, including the kingdom of Lara, where Isolde is our princess. So when her army arrives at Lara's borders, Isolde's dad, King Henry, knows that they are no match for this mighty vampire army. There is no way they are going to defeat an army of vampires, and they will probably end up dead. So he tries to bargain with Adrian, and Adrian was like, okay, if I'm to accept your surrender, I want Princess Isolde to be my betrothed and my queen. And of course, at the beginning, the king totally refused. But then Isolde convinced him, because if she refuses, then she just will let her people die because of her. So she marries him, but she was surprised by how good and kind he was to her. Like, he kept his word to his father that he will protect her and treat her with kindness. And also he was like praising her for her strength and telling like other vampires, like, basically, if you touch her, you die. And like, yeah, she was baffled by his treatment and like how he was loyal to his words to her father. And she starts discovering the truth about this war and why Adrian is doing what he's doing. And this all happened in the beginning of the story, so I'm not spoiling anything for you. It's in the synopsis. And I thought the vampire lore in this book was so fascinating. You can tell that the author did a lot of research into that. The romance, beautiful. I love the back and forth dynamic, and Adrian lines when he talks about his love for her. Oh my god. It will make you melt. It was so good. I enjoyed this book so much. It was also very easy to read and like to fly through. Highly recommend. If you want a sizzling, hot, spicy vampire romance, you will love this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. And to the next one. Next book I read was Fall of Ruin and Wrath. This is the newest release by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and it's an adult fantasy romance. In this world, we have a specific hierarchy. We have the gods, and then created from the gods, we have the highborn. Highborns are princes and lords. And then there are the Celestias. And finally, we have the lowest class, which are the lowborns. They are regular humans. They don't possess any magic. And we follow Callista, who is a lowborn, but she has a gift that she has no idea how she got. She has an intuition that never fails. And she can also see into the future of someone when she touches them. Sometimes she gets glimpses of the future, but she cannot see her own future. So she cannot see what's going to happen with her. And Callista ended up living under the protection of Claude, who is a Celestina and a Baron, and in exchange for his protection, she grants him valuable information using her gift, until one day her intuition leads her to save a traveling highborn prince from a deadly situation, and the story develops from there. I thought the world building in this was so fascinating, and JLA's writing style just flows. It does not feel like you're reading a heavy fantasy at all. You just fly through the book really, really easily. She really makes it so easy for the reader to grasp the information she's building while keeping up with the plot. It's not overly descriptive where you get disconnected from what's happening, but at the same time, she gives you enough so you can project yourself into the space where the characters are and you feel like you are with them, seeing what is happening up close. Callista is a strong female character, but sometimes she can be too trusting, and her way of thinking sometimes makes you want to just grab her out of the book and shake her. And our main male character, oh my god, I don't want to mention his name, but he's so swoon worthy. You will fall in love with him. I don't want to mention his name because I want you just to discover it by yourself when you're reading this book. He's the embodiment of who did this to you. I loved him so much, and I loved this book. I enjoyed it so much. Sucked me in every time I opened it, and I didn't want to put it down. This is definitely a great start to this new series, and I am definitely going to pick up book 2 once it releases. This is just an excellent read, and I highly recommend it. And that was it for my wrap up for this month. Please let me know what books you read, and if you enjoyed them, I will gladly take recommendations from you. If you made it this far, please leave me the raven or the crow emoji. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for all your warm comments. It just makes my heart melt every time I read them. I appreciate you so much. And if you didn't subscribe yet, please do so we can become bookish friends, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!